What if I told you that the song many fans now call Rush's masterpiece almost never existed? In fact, there was a moment when the band was staring at failure. Their record label had lost confidence in them, and one more commercial disappointment could have ended Rush before they ever became legends. But instead of playing it safe, they doubled down on the biggest creative risk of their lives, and that gamble became 2112. By early 1976, Rush was in serious trouble. Their previous album, Caress of Steel, was a commercial disappointment. Critics were confused by its long progressive rock suites, ticket sales suffered, and Mercury Records wanted something simpler and more radio-friendly. The message was clear: write shorter, more commercial songs, or risk losing everything. But Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart refused to abandon the music they believed in. Instead, they began creating a bold 20-minute science fiction epic unlike anything on rock radio. Inspired in part by themes from Ayn Rand's Anthem, Neil Peart crafted the story of a future where creativity and music are forbidden, and one individual dares to fight back. It wasn't just another song, it was a statement about artistic freedom. To many people, it looked like career suicide. But what happened next didn't just save Rush from breaking up. It changed the course of rock history. Imagine being told that your dream is failing and then responding by making it even bigger. That's exactly what Rush did. Mercury Records had made its position clear after Caress of Steel. The label wanted accessible songs that could earn radio play and stronger album sales. Instead, Rush opened their next album with a side-long 20-minute suite. It was the exact opposite of what executives expected. The band later admitted they knew the risks. Rather than compromise, they decided that if this was going to be their last album, it would represent who they truly were as musicians. Geddy Lee has recalled that the band believed they had to stay honest to their creative vision, even if it meant commercial failure. The recording sessions reflected that determination. Neil Peart's ambitious story, Alex Lifeson's sweeping guitar work, and Geddy Lee's soaring vocals came together to create something that felt more like a rock opera than a conventional album opener. Every section, from the mysterious overture to the explosive finale, was designed to immerse listeners in a dystopian world where music itself had become an act of rebellion. Ironically, the very thing that seemed destined to destroy Rush became the reason fans couldn't ignore them. As 212 reached stores in April 1976, no one, not the band, not the label, and certainly not the critics, could have predicted what was about to happen. When 212 was released in April 1976, there was no guarantee it would succeed. Progressive rock was already becoming a harder sell in the United States, and many industry insiders believed a 20-minute opening track had little chance of reaching a mainstream audience. But something unexpected happened. Fans connected with it immediately. Rush's concerts became the turning point. Night after night, audiences embraced the ambitious new material, proving there was a passionate audience for music that challenged listeners instead of chasing trends. Word spread from city to city, album sales steadily climbed, and 2012 eventually earned gold certification in the United States before later being certified platinum by the RIAA. Critics also began to reconsider the band. What had first seemed like an overly ambitious experiment was increasingly recognized as a defining achievement of progressive rock. The album's story of an individual standing up against a controlling system resonated with listeners, while the band's technical musicianship set them apart from nearly every rock act of the era. For Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart, the success of 2012 meant more than strong sales. It gave them something they had almost lost: the freedom to make music on their own terms. And with that freedom, Rush wouldn't just survive. They were about to enter the most influential era of their entire career. The success of 2011-12 didn't just keep Rush together, it completely changed their future. Instead of pressuring the band to simplify their music, Mercury Records gave them something they had been fighting for all along: creative freedom. From that point forward, Rush had far greater control over the direction of their albums, allowing them to push musical boundaries without constantly looking over their shoulders. They took full advantage of it. Over the next few years, Rush released a remarkable run of albums, including A Farewell to Kings, 1977, Hemispheres, 1978, and Permanent Waves, 1980. Each record expanded their sound, blending complex musicianship with stronger melodies and more accessible songwriting. Then came Moving Pictures in 1981, featuring classics like Tom Sawyer, Limelight, and YYZ. The album became Rush's biggest commercial success and cemented their place among rock's elite. Looking back, it's hard to imagine those milestones ever happening without 2112. The album proved that artistic integrity and commercial success didn't have to be opposites. Rush had won by refusing to compromise, but the impact of 2112 didn't stop with Rush. Its influence would inspire generations of musicians and help redefine what progressive rock could become. As the years passed, 2112 became far more than the album that rescued Rush's career. It became a blueprint for artists who believed music should be fearless. Musicians across progressive rock, heavy metal, and alternative rock have pointed to Rush as a major influence. Bands such as Dream Theater, Metallica, Foo Fighters, and Primus have spoken about Rush's impact on their music and musicianship. The band's willingness to ignore industry expectations showed countless artists that technical skill and creative ambition could still find a massive audience. For Rush fans, 2112 came to represent something even deeper. It wasn't just a concept album about a dystopian future. It was a real-life symbol of standing by your convictions when the easier path is to compromise. In many ways, the story inside the album mirrored the band's own journey. Just as the protagonist fights to preserve creativity, Rush fought to protect their artistic identity. Nearly 5 decades later, 2002 is still celebrated as one of progressive rock's defining achievements. What once seemed like a reckless gamble is now remembered as one of the boldest and smartest creative decisions in rock history. But perhaps the most remarkable part of this story isn't the music itself, it's what it teaches us about courage. Looking back today, it's incredible how close Rush came to taking a completely different path. If Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart had followed the record label's advice, they might have released a safer album filled with shorter, radio-friendly songs. It may have bought them a little more time, but it probably wouldn't have created the legacy that defines Rush today. Instead, they trusted themselves. 2112 proved that audiences were willing to embrace ambitious music when it was written with honesty, passion, and conviction. That success gave Rush the confidence and the creative freedom to produce some of the most celebrated albums in rock history. It also inspired generations of musicians to take risks instead of chasing trends. Today, 2112 is widely regarded as one of the greatest progressive rock albums ever recorded. Its title suite remains a centerpiece of Rush's legacy, and the album is frequently cited as the turning point that transformed the band from a struggling act into one of rock's most respected and influential names. So the next time you hear the opening notes of 2112 Overture, remember this: you're not just listening to a classic song, you're listening to the moment 3 musicians refused to compromise, the moment a band saved itself from the brink, and the moment one bold decision changed rock history forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Do you think 2112 is the greatest comeback album in rock history?